Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All right, so this video will continue our lesson related to the function of plant hormones. So remember previously we have discussed two functions of cytokinin, which the first one is to control apical dominance, and number two to control cell division and also cell differentiation. All right, so now we are moving into the third function of cytokinin, which is to promote the delay of senescence, right, or providing anti-aging effect. So how cytokinin delay senescence? It is by inhibiting protein breakdown and stimulating more synthesis of protein and RNA. Right, so as more protein synthesizes, so the plant will become much more healthier and also can help in the delay of senescence. Okay, so despite of that, cytokinin also mobilize nutrient to the surrounding tissue to make sure that all part of tissue receive enough nutrient or sufficient nutrients, and it's slowing down the process of apoptosis. Apoptosis is programmed cell death. So you can see over here the difference between two plants that this one is applied with cytokinin and this is not. So you can see that the left one have more healthier, looks healthier, and can lengthen the age in terms of the age. Okay. All right, so that is all the function of cytokinin. Now we go to gibberellin. So the function of gibberellin, remember, gibberellin can be represented with Ga. So the first function of gibberellin is related to the G, which is germination. So gibberellin signal the seed to break dormancy, meaning dormancy means stay still, do nothing. So gibberellin help in breaking the dormancy and stimulate the seed to germinate. How the seed can germinate in the release of gibberellin. So we are going to learn the detail in chapter 9. Okay. Right. So the next function of gibberellin is to promote stem elongation. Right. So you can see here, stem elongation function here is synergism to the function of auxin. Meaning both gibberellin and auxin work in stimulating stem elongation. So it stimulates growth of stem and also leaf. For stem, it stimulates cell elongation and cell division, and it works together with auxin to promote stem elongation. Okay, you can see from this picture, the right one is applied with gibberellin, and you can see it induced the stem to elongate compared to the left one. Okay. Okay, another function of gibberellin is another G, growth, right? So both auxin and gibberellin. So you can see this is another example of synergism. Okay, both auxin and gibberellin must be present for the food to set. By spraying gibberellin, it will produce or inducing the fruit like grapes, individual grapes to grow larger, and the internodes between the grapes will be elongate. So internode, let's say this is one internode, this is another internode, this is one grape and another grape, right? So the internode of the grape bunch will elongate. So this will actually inducing air circulation to be more efficient, which later harder for the yeast or infection by microorganism, right? So in other words, it will induce or increase the quality of the fruits. So you can see the left one is not being applied with gibberellin and the right one is applied with gibberellin. So despite having a very large individual grapes, so you can see that the internode bunch also elongate. So this is what I meant by inducing efficient in terms of air circulation. Okay, another function, next we go to the function of abscisic acid, or we use as ABA. All right, so the function of abscisic acid is to promote seed dormancy. This function is antagonism to the function of gibberellin. All right. So abscisic acid will ensure the seed to germinate in optimal condition. What does it mean by optimal condition? When there is enough water, enough nutrient, enough lights, for example, right? So ABA will make sure seed will only germinate at optimal condition, but somehow gibberellin will induce the seed to germinate. Okay. Precocious germination, or we call as early germination, can be observed in maize butane, right? When ABA inactivated or low level, or the effect of ABA is blocked. Okay, you can see from this picture, right? So all of these are actually individual seed of maize, right? So you can see that technically all of the seed will not germinate, okay? Because ABA promoting seed dormancy. But this particular seed, right, you can see that there is development of coleoptile, which later on will become the shoot. So this what we call as precocious germination. Why is this particular seed is germinating? Because they are mutant, or we can say that it is not affected with ABA, or effect of ABA is blocked. That's why precocious germination can be seen in maize mutant when the ABA level is low, or effect of ABA is blocked by that particular seed. Okay, right. Another function of ABA is it is very important in drought tolerance. Okay, so during drought, right? So ABA will be becoming the main signal that enable the plant to withstand drought. So how? So increase in ABA will accumulate in the leaf, which cause the stomata to close, number one. So the closing of stomata will reduce the transpiration process and preventing further water loss, right? So this is the second function of ABA. Okay, next one. Ethylene. So remember, ethylene is gaseous hormone. All right. So plant produce ethylene in response to these conditions like drought, flooding, mechanical pressure, injury, or infection. Okay, for example, okay, we know what happened during drought, right? So in drought, it will help in reducing water loss. Okay, mechanical pressure. Yeah, okay, example. Let's say on top of the soil, you have a big stone. Down here, you have a germinating seed. So this seed should be germinating this way, upwards. But then the mechanical pressure that present will somehow affect or provide pressure or stress for the plant to germinate. So what happened? Ethylene will be accumulating, and ethylene will help in producing triple response. Okay, what is triple response? Okay, to cut it short, so this seed will germinate this way, right? Laterally and then upward. Okay, for further you can read from textbook. Okay, so what are the main function of ethylene? So main function of ethylene is to promoting ripening process, right? Menggalakkan buah cepat masak ataupun jadi ranum. How, right? Ethylene triggers food ripening process first by enzymatically breakdown of the cell wall. So what happened? The cell wall of the fruit will become softened. That's why bila kita nak beli buah, kita nak tahu buah kita mangga tu dah masak ke belum, kita tekan-tekan sikit kan. That is actually happen when there is enzymatic breakdown of the cell wall. Okay. Next, what happened? Starch and acid will convert into sugar, which makes the fruit taste sweet. That's why mangga masam dia berasid, dia masam. But when it ripens, so dia akan jadi manis. Apart of that, ethylene also help in the production of new scents and also color. Okay, so ethylene promote production of scent and also color. So the new nice smell and color will actually advertise the fruit to animals, right? So as animal eat the fruit, they will disperse the seed, okay? Sorry, I'm coughing. Okay, so by storing the fruit in a plastic bag, ethylene will accumulate. So as ethylene accumulate, it will increase the rate of ripening process, okay? But to prevent premature ripening, fruits will be stored in a bin flush with carbon dioxide. So then this carbon dioxide flush in a bin or in a plastic bag will actually prevent the ethylene from accumulating. Thus, delay the process of ripening. Okay. So that is the main function of ethylene. All right. Okay, so we have finished with the function of plant hormones. Now let's see the interaction between hormones. Remember, hormones do interact either in the form of synergism or antagonism. All right. Okay, let's see the detail. For example, flooding of deep water rise lead to the increase of 50-fold of internal ethylene and thus induce the rapid increase in stem elongation. So when the deep water rise, contoh padi lah contohnya, alright, ditenggelami oleh banjir. So what happened? This will cause stress to the plant. Mungkin pokok akan mati. So what happened? Ethylene level will increase 50-fold, which induce the stem to elongate. So dahan ataupun stem will elongate faster. So menyebabkan tumbuhan tu boleh survive daripada ditenggelami oleh air. So flooding also lead to the increase of sensitivity to GA that mediated by the decrease in sensitivity toward ABAP. So during flooding also, gibberellin level will increase. So seed will germinate faster. Okay. So hormone interaction divided into two, synergism and antagonism. So what is synergism? Okay, synergism is a situation when two or more plant hormone interact to give a greater effect than the sum of the individual action. Meaning to say, when two or more hormone work together, the effect is much more better compared to an individual hormone. Example, auxin and cytokinin. Both auxin and cytokinin must be present, right, in order to stimulate cell division and cell differentiation. But we have seen the effect with the level of different level of cytokinin and also auxin. But both must be present in order for the plant to for the cell to divide and differentiate. Okay, right. So this can be considered as the first example of synergism. Okay. Next, we go to antagonism. What is antagonism? So antagonism is antagonism is a situation when two or more plant hormone interact by reducing each other's effect. So they are antagonists opposite to one another, right? For example, the first example of antagonism, auxin and cytokinin. Auxin enhance apical dominance, while cytokinin inhibit apical dominance. Okay, right. So this is antagonism function between auxin and cytokinin. Okay, what are the other example? Right. So now let's see the second example of synergism. So the second example of synergism is between auxin and gibberellin, where they are involved together in stimulating stem and leaves elongation, as well as fruit development and growth. Okay, right. Another example of antagonism, right, are ABA and also auxin. All right. ABA act antagonistically to auxin by promoting abscission in some fruit. Unripe seed produce auxin, meaning to say, buah yang belum masak usually they have high in auxin, but in ripening process, auxin will decline and ABA production will rise. So which induce fruit abscission. Okay, right. The third example is gibberellin and ABA. Antagonism function between gibberellin and ABA. Gibberellin promotes seed germination, while ABA inhibit seed germination, or we can say as promoting seed dormant seed. Right? Gibberellin promotes seed germination or promoting break dormancy. Or stimulate better. Stimulate the seed to break the dormancy, right? While ABA inhibits seed germination, or we can say as promoting seed dormancy. So you can see the antagonist function between gibberellin and ABA. So I want you to find at least another 2 examples of synergism and antagonism. All right, so we are going to discuss this in the next class. Okay, right. So the effect of the plant hormone, the synergism or the antagonism, the effect is depending on the concentration of the hormone itself. For example, the concentration or the level of auxin and cytokinin and whatnot, right? ABA and auxin and whatnot, right? It also depending on the tissue that they are acting on. Either they are acting on leaves, acting on the fruits, acting on the stem and whatnot, right? And depending on the developmental stage of the plant, either it is in the seed, okay, in the developmental of the seed and so on. Okay, right. So that is all for the first video. Next video will be about phytochrome and photoperiodism. Okay, thank you.